This is lab 4. So make sure you go into Blackboard and download the files that you need for this lab. So I'll click on assignments link. Scroll down till I see lab 4. And we need to download 2 files. The first file called charts. This is lab 4 charts, so we'll be dealing with charts. It's our work file, so I'm just going to click on it and open it for now. Then I'm going to click on the Excel Lab 4 instructions file, which is a Word document, and I'm just going to open it. Down on my taskbar, just like the previous labs, I will be switching between my Word document, which is my instructions file, and my Excel file, which is my work file. On the instructions file, it comes up as Enable Editing. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, even though I'm not going to make any changes to the file. It just gives me a better view for the file. And then I will bring up my Excel work file for my taskbar at the bottom. And I will have to enable editing this file because we are going to make changes to it. So going back to my instruction file, the first thing we need to do is open the charts file, which we did, and save it as charts, your first and last name. For my taskbar, I'll click on my Excel document to make it active. I will immediately do File, Save As. I'm going to save it on my computer to the desktop. You can save it wherever you want. Just remember where you save it because you're going to have to find it wherever you saved it to submit it. I put mine on the desktop just because I know I'll see it right then and there. It'd be easy to find. So first and last name. So charts dash first and last name, click Save. From my taskbar at the bottom, I'll bring up my instruction file. We need to switch to sheet 1 if necessary. Create a clustered column chart for the data in the range A1 to E6. Move and resize the chart as necessary so that the upper left corner is in cell A8 and the lower right corner is in cell H22. For my taskbar, I will bring up my Excel work file. I will select the range A1 to E6. The chart will represent the data in this range of cells. To get to the chart, up on your ribbon, click on the Insert tab. In the Charts group, we want a clustered column. So click the column icon that represents the column charts. To find the correct chart, just point to the chart types and look at the screen tip till you see clustered column. And we got lucky because the first one there was clustered column under 2D, so just click it to select it. Now the chart comes into the worksheet. It should be selected, which means it should have a border around it. If you have clicked outside of that chart anywhere else, notice the border around the chart disappears. In order to move the chart, we have got to have it selected, so click in any open white space on the chart. The border reappears. Make sure your pointer is a plus sign with arrows pointing up, down, left, right. When it is, left click, hold that mouse button down and drag until the upper left corner of the chart is in cell A8 and then let go. We need the lower right corner to be in H22. It really already is, but to resize your chart, you have a sizing handle in the center of every side of the chart. When you point to it, your pointer changes to an arrow pointing left and right. If you left click and drag, you're going to make the chart wider. If you point to the sizing handle on the top or the bottom of the chart and you drag, left click and drag, you're making it taller. If you point to any sizing handle on the corners, there's 4 corners of this chart, and your pointer changes to an arrow where it's pointing diagonally. If you left click and drag, that is resizing the chart both vertically and horizontally at the same time. So I'm just going to drag it a little bit more into H22. It really already is there. You probably don't have to do much resizing on that, and then let go. We'll go back to our Word document, our instructions file. On step 3 from the Chart Styles Gallery, apply style 11 to the chart. So for my taskbar, I'll bring up my Excel work file. There again, as long as the chart is selected, you have your chart tools. If I click anywhere off that chart, up here on my ribbon, I do not have my chart tools. So in order to find the styles, that chart has got to be selected. So make sure the chart has that border around it. If you need to reselect it, just click in any open white space on the chart. Now I have my chart tools. In the chart styles, you have an arrow pointing down, arrow pointing up. This takes you row by row so you can see the different styles. We also have the More button. The third button there at the end of the chart styles group is an arrow pointing down with a line. When you point to it, the screen tip says More. When you click on it, it shows you all the chart styles at one time. These chart styles should be in numerical order, so just all you do is move to the chart. When the screen tip comes up and says style 11, select it, and your chart style changes. Okay, I'll bring up my Word document from the taskbar. On step 4, we want to change the fill color of year 3 data series so that it's orange accent 6, darker 25%. For my taskbar, I'll bring up my Excel work file. In the chart, year 3 is represented by the green column. So click once, maybe, and you may have to double click, but click on the green bar in the chart until it is the only one selected. All 5 green bars should be selected. So just click once, depending on your system, and make sure it's just the green bar that's selected. Once it is, and there again, when you click on one, all 5 will be selected. Right click on any one of those 5 selected green bars. You have a little mini toolbar that appears. The first icon there says Fill. Click on your Fill button, and we need orange. So in the theme colors, find orange, and the screen tip says orange accent 6, but we want orange accent 6 25%. So just keep pointing down on each one of those little boxes. Look at the screen tip till you see orange accent 6 darker 25%, and select it. Okay, I'll bring up my instruction file. Step 5, enter Little Rock Arts Alliance events as the chart title and make sure it's above the chart. I will click on my Excel work file from the taskbar to bring it up. The chart title does already appear above the chart. So all you have to do is either click in the chart title box and start typing, or click in there and type in the formula bar up here at the top. So either method. I'm going to use the formula bar. So I'm going to type in Little Rock and go ahead and finish your title. Once I have it typed using the formula bar method, I can either hit my enter key now, or the check mark here on the formula bar is the same as hitting enter. So I'm just going to click the check mark and my title comes in. With your chart selected, the tools to the right of your chart, if you click on the plus sign and you have the elements, your chart elements, if you have to put the chart title in a different place, notice when you point to chart title, another arrow pointing to the right appears. That means you have other options. If you click on that arrow, this is where it's above the chart. If we select the option centered overlay, there again, that title's coming over our legend. Doesn't look good, and you also have more options. So you can, with these chart options here, change where the chart title appears. So ours is already above the chart, so that's fine. I will bring up my Word document, and on step 6, we're going to make the chart title more visually attractive by applying a shape outline and a shadow effect. Okay, so I will bring up my Excel work file. Make sure you're in the chart and that the chart title is selected. There again, it's got the border around it. Okay, with that selected, up on your chart tools format tab, so click on the format. In the shape styles group, the first thing it wants is that shape outline of blue accent 1. So click on the shape outline, find blue, that's dark blue, the next one over is blue accent 1. So just click on it, and then also, why did it go back? Okay, enable editing. I don't know why it went back to that. It also wants, we did the blue accent 1, a shadow shape effect, offset diagonal bottom right in the outer section. It's a lot of words, but this is how we find it. I'm going to bring up my Excel file. Make sure the chart title is selected so that you have your Chart Tools Format tab. On the shape effects, the word said shadow shape effect, so point to shadow. When you do, you have some options that appear. They want offset diagonal bottom right, but it said it appears in the outer section. So you have categories here, outer, inner, perspective. So in the outer section, and this is where you're going to have to point to each item. Watch the screen tip, but it wants offset diagonal bottom right. Very likely it's the first one. Click on it, and you can see if I click outside the chart, it has a shadow effect with a blue border. So it just makes the title look a little bit better. So I will bring up my Word document, and we are on step 7. Enter the number of events as the vertical axis title, and which is the rotated title. I will bring up my Excel document. This is vertical, so we're the 4.5 and the 4, etc. The horizontal is at the bottom, so I'm going to click on my chart to get my chart tools, my chart elements here. And we want the axis title, so point to it. Click the arrow to the side. We want the vertical one. So check mark vertical. Notice over here on the vertical axis you have a box that says axis title. Now it's kind of uncomfortable typing sideways looking there, so what I'm going to do is make sure that title over here is selected. I'm going to go up here to my formula bar and type in number of events. There again, hit your enter key now or click the check mark. Bring up my Word document file. Step 8. Enter types of events as the horizontal axis title, and you want the title below the axis. I will bring up my Excel work file. I'm going to go ahead and click on my plus sign, access titles. I want primary horizontal this time, so check mark it. Notice now in the bottom of your chart, underneath your column headings, you have access title. There again, you can just click in there. Mine's real small, and type, or I'm going to use the formula bar because it's larger, and type in types of events, and hit enter or the check mark. Make my screen a little bit bigger. Bring up the Word instruction file. On step 9, we're going to change the chart type to a 3D clustered column. I will bring up my Excel work file. My chart is selected. And on the Chart Tools Design tab, in the Type section, you have a button called Change Chart Type. Click on it, and they want us to change it to a 3D clustered column. So in my options here, you're going to point to the various options, and my screen tip's just taking forever to come up. Column. Now here it goes. Finally, and just point to each one, until your screen tip comes up and says 3D clustered. Select it, click OK, and your chart changes to a 3D clustered. I will now bring up my Word document. On step 10, we want to display only the following grid lines in the chart: major and minor vertical grid lines. So bring up your Excel work file from the taskbar. Make sure your chart is selected so you have your options. On the right hand side, click on the plus sign for chart elements, and notice the grid lines is already checked, but click on the arrow pointing to the right to get your options. We want only the major and minor vertical. They're showing the horizontal, so uncheck mark the horizontal and check mark the major vertical and the minor vertical. And you can see in the background vertical, they're going up and down. We had horizontal, which was going left and right. Then you can just click anywhere outside to get it, and you'll see your grid lines in the background. I'll bring up my Word instruction file from the taskbar. So we're now going to make another chart. We're going to, oh, yes we are. We're on 11. Create a pie in 3D chart using the non-adjacent ranges A1 to A6 and E1 to E6. Then we're going to move and resize the chart so that the upper left corner is in J1 and the lower right corner is in Q15. I will bring up my Excel work file from the taskbar. To select non-adjacent ranges, what you have to do is select the first series of ranges. Then when you select the second series or range of cells, you have to hold your control key down. You have to have both of these selected at the same time or the chart will not be made correctly. Okay, so the first range of cells is A1 to A6. So point to cell A1, make sure your pointer is the white plus sign or the white cross, left click, hold that mouse button down and drag down to A6. Now the second series is E1 to E6. So before you ever click on cell E1, make sure you hold your control key down. With it still being held down, left click on E1, hold that mouse button down and drag down to E6. These are non-adjacent cells, meaning they are not consecutive, they're not beside each other. But I have to have these two series selected at the same time or the chart will not be made correctly. So you have to hold your control key down to select the second set of range cells. Up on your ribbon, click on the Insert tab. We're wanting a 3D pie chart. So in the Charts group, point to the pie icon, the one that represents pie. Click on it. Obviously, if it's in a 3D, go to the 3D section. Screen tip says 3D pie. That's the correct style, so just click on it. Now we want to move and resize the chart so that the upper right corner is in J1. So there again, with the chart selected, left click in any open white space and moves the chart so that the upper left corner is in cell J1 and let go. We want the lower right corner in Q15, and it really is already there, but if you want to move it a little bit, you can. It really already landed there. I'll bring up my Word instruction file from the taskbar. On step 12, apply style 5 to the chart. I will now switch to my Excel work file from the taskbar. If the chart is still selected, you will see the chart styles already up here. If you have clicked off the chart, then you will not see the chart tools. It will not be displayed. You'll have to go and select the chart again by just clicking in any open white space to get the chart tools back up on the ribbon. We need style 5, so we have the arrow going down to take us row by row, or we have the More button that will show us all the styles. Hopefully they're in numerical order again, and they are, so if you point to the 5th one, on that first row, you should see the screen tip say Style 5. Click to select it. I will bring up my Word document. On step 13, we want to display data labels on the inside end of the chart. So from the taskbar, bring up your Excel work file. If it's still selected, you will have your elements on the right hand side. If not, click on the chart to select it. So click on the plus sign there again, which is your chart elements. We want data labels. Okay, the thing is we want them on the inside in, so we want them in a specific part of that pie. So click on the arrow pointing to the right to get our options. And our instructions said inside in, so select the inside in option, and you'll notice the data labels, which is just the values over here represented in your worksheet. And we wanted them inside in, so they're appearing on the end. Some of the options were to center them, maybe in the middle, so we wanted inside in, so that's where they are. I will bring up my instruction file. We want to slightly explode the comedy pie slice for emphasis. Bring up your Excel work file. The comedy slice is the purple one. Okay, so this is a little tricky. If I click on that purple slice up here, every slice is selected. I only want the purple one, so you're going to have to click on it one more time. So in order to get just the purple slice selected, you're going to have to double click. Once it's selected, all you're going to do is drag and drop it out a little bit. So with that purple slice selected and your pointer somewhere, anywhere's on that purple slice, left click your mouse, drag it out, and it says slightly in the directions, just a little bit. So to emphasize the comedy part, the comedy slice, you just bring it out, and that's called exploding it. Okay, let's bring up our words directions file. We want to display the legend to the top right of the chart. Bring up your Excel work file. There again, make sure the chart is selected. If it is, you're going to see your options over here on the right hand side. When you click on the plus sign, you're going to see your chart elements. The legend is displayed. This is your legend, plays, arts, and crafts. It tells you which, it's color coded as to which part, which slice, pie slice it represents. There again, the legend has other options. So point to legend up there in the chart elements. Click on the arrow pointing to the right, and we want this at the top right. More options. Not exactly where I want to go. When you click on that more options, you have top, bottom, left, right, and then you have the top right. Click, and these circles in front of these options are called radio buttons in computer terminology. Click the radio button in front of top right, and then let's close the format legend. Let's click on the X to close it, and it should be on the top right. I'll bring up my instructions file. Change the chart title to Little Rock Arts Alliance, etc. And to enhance the chart title, we're going to do the shape outline again, a blue accent one, just like we did the first one, the first chart we made. And then we're also going to do the shadow shape effect, offset diagonal, bottom right, same way we did on the previous chart. Okay, so I'm going to bring up my Excel work file. I'm going to click on the chart title, and we're wanting to change it, so the chart title should be Little Rock Arts Events. So I'm just going to click up here and type in my title. Okay, so I've entered the chart title, Little Rock Arts Alliance Events Year 4, and I'm just going to either hit the enter key or click the check mark to enter it. Now we want to make the chart title, like our first chart here, look a little bit better, so just click anywhere in that chart title. When you do, you should have your Chart Tools, Design and Format tab. Go to Format. We want the shape outline as a color blue accent 1. So in the Shape Styles group, click the Shape Outline button. Find blue accent 1 by watching your screen tip. That was it. And we want the Shape Effects, so click on Shape Effects. And it said Shadow, Offset, Diagonal, bottom right, in the outer section, same one as we did in the previous, click on it, and there again, if you click click anywhere outside that, you will see it has a blue border with a shadow out here at the bottom. Kind of makes it look 3D. It really looks a lot better. Okay, I'll bring up my instruction file. I think I'm going to save it just in case. Got a lot of work here. Don't want to lose it, so I'm just going to save it for a minute. Okay, bring up the work instructions file. We're going to do one more chart here. We're going to now create a 3D area chart using the data in range A1 to E6. We're going to, there again, move and resize the chart again, the upper and lower left corner, just like we did previously. Okay, I'll bring up my Excel work file. The chart should represent the cell range A1 to E6, so I'm going to left click cell A1, drag across and down till I have the range A1 E6 selected. Up on my ribbon, I'm going to click on the Insert tab, and in the Charts group, I want an area chart. So find the icon that represents an area chart by watching your screen tip. Once you see it, click it, and we want a 3D, so obviously we're going to be in the 3D section, 3D area. When I point to the very first one, and my screen tip's just taking a while, 3D area, that's the one we want, so click on it. Okay, we're going to move the chart so that the upper right corner is in A23. So I'm going to drag it down and drop it so that the upper right corner, upper left corner, my bad, is in A23, so let go. And we want the lower right corner in H37. So I'm just going to click here, drag it a little bit more over, and they're just trying to line it up, it looks like, underneath that first one. Okay? I'll bring up my Word document. Step 18, add the X-axis title type of events below the X-axis. Bring up my Excel file. The X-axis, of course, is your horizontal axis. So make sure the third chart that you just created is selected. You click on the plus sign that gives you your chart elements. We want the horizontal axis. So if you point to Access Titles, click the plus sign. We want the X-axis, which is the same as horizontal. We'll check mark it. The title comes in, whether you want to type it in this box or come up here to the formula bar and type in types of events is the title that we were supposed to do. And either hit enter or click the check mark to enter it. I'll bring up my instruction file. We did that. We're on 19, display data labels on the chart. I'll bring up my work file. Make sure you have the correct chart selected. Click on the plus sign to get your chart elements, and you have data labels. Check mark data labels, and they want them on the chart. So when I check marked it, it came on the chart by default, so that's fine. I'll bring up my Word document, and the last, we got 2 steps. Add the chart title above the chart that reads Little Rock Arts Alliance, etc. And then we're going to, there again, enhance the title by applying a shape outline color of blue and a shadow shape effect, the same as the previous 2. So I will bring up my Excel document. On the chart title, whichever method you want to use to enter it, I'm going up to the formula bar again, type in Little Rock Arts Alliance, etc. Okay, I have typed in the chart title as requested in the instruction file. I'll just hit enter. Now we're going to make it look a little better. So with the chart type selected, on the Chart Tools Format tab, Shape outline in the shape styles section, we want blue accent 1 again. And on the shape effects, we want shadow. In the outer section, we want offset diagonal bottom right. Okay, and the last step, enter your first and last name in cell A40. I'll bring up Excel, go to A40, type in your first and last name. Save your file, so whichever method, quick access toolbar up here, save it, or click File, Save, either method. But make sure after you save it, you close it. I wouldn't try to submit the file if it's still open. Sometimes I have trouble getting files, and the students haven't when they have this file open. So close it. And it should be very similar to this that appears here. So check your file against this. Go ahead and close it, and we're going to submit it through the assignment link. So when you're back in Blackboard, click on Lab 4 Charts link. Scroll down till you see the second section that says Assignment Submission. Click Browse My Computer. I put mine on my desktop, but wherever you saved it on the computer you were using, go to wherever you put it. It should be Charts, my first and last name. Goodness gracious, I have a lot of them. Double click or click once and click Open, and make sure you have attached files, charts in your first and last name, and hit Submit. Good luck, and if you have any problems, yell at me.